Greetings, family. I hope everyone's doing well on this day, in Jesus' name. It would look like China has removed Israel from their online maps. I can't help but to wonder why that would be. Perhaps it could just be them causing more hype in the midst of all the other hype, or perhaps it's a glitch in the system. One thing is for sure, it couldn't possibly be because something of biblical proportions is going to happen there that they don't want their people having knowledge of. Right?
So the future just keeps coming. Let's check in with
Fast.
Jason Carr in the carport. Jason, what the mark of the beast is going on?
Now let's talk about China. It is desperate to have a role in this conflict. Soon after the first rockets were fired, China dispatched a special envoy to West Asia. It even offered to mediate. And remember, this is far away from China's traditional sphere of influence. It's because Xi Jinping wants to be more than a spectator. He wants to be a player in the region, someone who can shape outcomes. But that may not happen anymore, especially after what has come to light today. China has pulled off a new stunt. It has deleted Israel from its maps. China's tech giants have done this. They've removed Israel. Let me show you some screen grabs. Now look closely. Israel is not on these maps. Yes, you can see the borders and cities. The disputed territories are clearly divided. There are clear demarcations between Israeli and Palestinian territories. Israel's neighbors have been identified. You can see Lebanon on this map. You can see Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. But there is no Israel. And which maps are we talking about? These are not Google Maps, because Google Maps is blocked in China. They have their own copies and clones of everything. In China, two companies provide mapping services, Baidu and Alibaba. They've both deleted Israel. And here's how it came to light. When internet users in China checked their maps, they could not find Israel. So is this a software bug or a political salvo? The debate is on in China. These maps with Israel missing, are trending on Chinese platforms. And now they're making headlines the world over, but their makers remain silent. Neither Baidu nor Alibaba have bothered to explain what happened here. And it's hard to believe that this is a bug, because China is quite serious about its maps. They're a tool for the Communist Party. China weaponizes maps. It uses maps to assert territorial claims, also to convey its policy positions. And internet companies simply toe the Communist Party line. So you can say that these maps reflect China's worldview. And now they do not show Israel. What message do you think Beijing is trying to send? China's foreign ministry was asked about this. Their response was vague. It said, China and Israel have quote-unquote normal diplomatic relations. And I'm quoting again, relevant countries are on China's standard maps. Does that mean Israel is not a relevant country? Either way, the statement does not answer the question. But that's China for you. When faced with an uncomfortable question, they deflect. And in case you're wondering where China stands on the Israel-Hamas war, it says it is a neutral party. Listen in.
The position of the Chinese government on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is very clear. We are calling for a ceasefire as soon as possible, the protection of civilians, and the establishment of an independent Palestinian state.
But anti-Semitism is surging in China, and it seems to have state support. You see, Chinese internet is tightly controlled, and right now it is aflush with hate against Israel. What's more, this hate is being driven by influential voices, like Hu Xijin, former editor of the Global Times. Recently, an Israeli minister criticized the Hezbollah. Hu Xijin decided to weigh in, and this is what he said, I'm quoting, "Oh, calm down, Israel. I'm worried you'll wipe the earth out of the solar system." China's state mouthpieces are broadcasting similar messages. Recently, a Chinese state broadcaster hosted a discussion. It was about how Jews control wealth in America. And this really is a reflection of how China sees Israel through the lens of its relationship with the US. China has a rather narrow view of Israel. Ally of America, so cannot be a friend of China. That's the popular belief. That's how they see Israel. And Beijing is feeding into this. If China wants, it can censor the hate speech. It can also get its mouthpieces to focus on the relationship with Israel. But it's doing none of this.
We will see how long that lasts. Who knows, perhaps they will put Israel back on the map in a few days. Only time will tell where all this is leading, but I personally get the sneaky suspicion we're heading right where the Bible tells us we're heading in the last days. We got China over there erasing Israel's name off the map and rewriting the Bible into utter blasphemy. Meanwhile, having their citizens on total surveillance with facial recognition and everything. I heard they even put cameras on the dumpsters, and the government pays citizens to report on their neighbors. Obviously, the birth pains have been steadily increasing over the last few years. The devastations happening all over the earth, getting closer and closer together, and more destructive, killing more and more people. At one point, I thought I was going to start reporting on all the weather disasters going on everywhere, but soon realized if I did that, I wouldn't have time to do much of anything else, because just about every day now, somewhere gets hit with something. We have wars and rumors of war, nations rising against nation, and kingdoms against kingdoms. We have famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. We have people's hearts growing cold, and family and friends turning against one another. Volcanoes have been erupting all over the place. Large bodies of water turning blood red. Rivers drying up, lakes drying up. The government trying to blame all the bad weather on us for being alive, and on cows for also being alive. Meanwhile, trying to convince us that aliens are real. Aliens are super fake. There are no aliens. There are fallen angels, and there are demons. And they're both real good at a lion. Anyways, the list goes on and on. I don't know how much more proof anyone needs that the Bible is true, and what it says is happening is going to continue to happen until Jesus comes back and takes care of business and cleans house, so we can all finally live in peace without a world full of complete psychopaths trying to pump us full of vaccines and satanic agendas, while feeding us chemical food sacrificed to idols, and hosing us down with chemtrails. The enemy knows their time is short, and they will fail. Jesus wins.
I can see through all this pain. I can look past the madness too. Don't let life pass you by. Through the looking glass of someone else's life. If it's all about money and bills, I can't take it. If that is all there is, I'll never make it. So I trust in the Lord above. He sent His Son to save the world He loves. Believe it or not, but it is true. It's true. You may not believe in Him, but He believes in you. He believes in you. Surely on the day you die, will be the day the truth you come to find.